Hey guys, IKhanWhisper here, and today I'm going to be doing another of my ASMR Warhammer 40K book collection videos. And to start out, here's Fulcrum, which is the one I just finished reading recently actually. It's about the Emperor's Children chapter. You can see a dreadnought here in the foreground and some of the Space Marines of that chapter. They're supposed to embody the perfection of humanity, but I don't know. That guy's not looking too amazing. But let me read the back here. It is the 31st millennium, and humanity is at the peak of its powers. As the Great Crusade, led by War Master Horus, continues to conquer the galaxy, Fulcrum, Primarch of the Emperor's Children, leads his warriors into battle against a vile alien foe. From the blood of this campaign are sown the seeds that will lead this proud legion to treachery, taking them down the darkest paths of corruption, leading up to the carnage of the Drop Site Massacre on Istvan V. Graham McNeill tells the tale of Fulcrum's tragic fall from grace in the next thrilling novel in the Horus Heresy series. So I've been reading a lot of the Horus Heresy series, and it's really awesome. It's a really cool story that takes place before a lot of the events, before most of the things, most of the timeline that you think of when you think Warhammer 40K. Is this, that's a weird sound. Most of like the video games and things you see are after the Horus Heresy, like thousands of years later. So it's a very interesting time period. Alright. Here is Only in Death by Dan Abnett. The other one was by Graham McNeill, which is covered up with a sticker mostly, but alright. So this is a Gaunt's Ghost novel, another very good series. Kind of a cool picture on this one as well. You can see the Imperial Guard firing at what I think are Chaos, if I remember correctly. Their laser rifles are shooting blue, which I think usually it's red. So that's interesting. But in the war-torn Sabbath World's crusade, Colonel Commissar Gaunt and his regiment, the Tanith First and Only, struggle for survival against the forces of chaos. As the crusade to liberate the Sabbath Worlds continues, the Tanith are posted to an unforgiving new war zone, the fortress world of Jago. As the enemy assaults increase in fury, Gaunt and his men must face the terror of the present alongside the ghosts of their past, for only in death does duty end. Such intensity. Alright. And here is Duty Calls, another one of the Caiaphas. I'm not sure you're supposed to say it, but Kane novel. So you can see him fighting off a bunch of Tyranids. Commissar Kane once more finds himself in the firing line, despite his best efforts to escape the war-torn 41st millennium unscathed. While assisting local forces on Pereramunda to quell widespread civil disorder, Commissar Kane and his regiment of Valhallans discover sinister forces at work behind the scenes. With a rioting populace, aliens on the rampage, and the Inquisition poking their noses everywhere, how can the wily commissar ever find the easy life he prefers? And I should be checking for any interesting things in here like I usually do. It's been a while since I've made one of these. I don't think this one had any, but I can check the other ones. Any interesting little pictures or charts? Maybe an interesting little preface here. Little like notes scrawled in here. A little intro here, background for it that I can read. In 778, Millennium 41, the 23rd year of the Sabbath World's crusade, Warmaster Makaroth's main battle groups advanced swiftly and thoroughly into the frontiers of the Carcharodon cluster, driving the hosts of the arch-enemy overlord Archon Erloch Gower before them. Archon Gower's forces seemed to fracture under the successive imperial assaults, though it now seems likely they were in fact withdrawing to establish a defensive cordon in the Irenaeus group. To coreward the Crusade's secondary battle groups, the 5th, 8th, and 9th armies continued to combat the legions of Magistar and Aquinar Sec, Gar's most capable lieutenant. The second front's avowed intent was to hound Sec's rabble from the fringes of the Khan group, hey look, I'm in here, and oust them from the many fortress worlds of the Cabal system. During this murderous phase of the crusade, an especially bloody banishment campaign took place on the ruinous fortress world of Jago. And that's where this book takes place. Back to this first one for 1 second. Let's see. And I have to say, I've only started reading Graham McNeil's novels recently, but he's probably quickly becoming one of my favorite authors as well. Got some quotes in here too. Here's one from fulcrum. That which causes us trials shall yield us triumph, and that which makes our hearts ache shall fill us with gladness. For the only true happiness is to learn, to advance, and to improve. None of this could happen without rejecting error, ignorance, and imperfection. We must pass out of the darkness to reach the light. So, that is obviously before his fall to chaos. And here is Dead Men Walking. Not a lot going on in this cover, just a picture of a laser rifle, or las rifle. I'm going to say laser though. Deep beneath a mining planet, an ancient enemy slumbers, waiting for the time to awaken and reclaim what is theirs. When the Necrons rise, the world descends into a cauldron of war, and the remorseless foes decimate the human defenders. Salvation comes in an unlikely form, the Death Corps of Krieg, a force designed for the harshest of conflicts, and as unfeeling as the Necrons themselves. When the two powers go to war, casualties are high, and the magnitude of the destruction is unimaginable. Can the most brutal of the Imperial Guard regiments triumph? And what will the price of victory be? So this one was pretty cool. Talks about the Death Corps of Krieg, like I just said, and they're kind of interesting. They're kind of without fear, and kind of one of the most badass of the Imperial Guard. And they wear gas masks all the time, even when they don't really need to, because their homeworld is really like toxic and radiated. Apparently there was like a civil war where kind of like, I think it was a lot of the military and government and stuff wanted to break off from the Empire, and then a lot of it resisted that and wanted to stay loyal, and the resistance was almost defeated, and they chose to like set off a lot of nuclear bombs and pretty much destroy most of the planet, and then were able to win and stay in the Empire. But their planet is completely destroyed, and everyone just lives in like bunkers underground and stuff, and they're like super loyal now to try and like redeem themselves from their planet's past. So it's pretty interesting, and it probably has the most about the Necron that I've read in a book so far. And lastly, probably still my favorite Warhammer book is Titanicus, and the cover's really cool. It has a lot going on, but it has a lot about the Titans, and they're kind of like big robots, or mech warriors, it kind of reminds me of, but there's a lot of different sizes. That's probably like, I don't know, that could be like a medium one. There's ones that are like Warhound class that are like a story tall or something, or maybe 2 stories, but they're rather short. They're the size of a building, and then they get up to this size or even bigger, like an Imperator class, and they're just covered in guns, and huge, and it's really cool. You can see the size here, like, I don't know, they're way bigger than tanks, like their feet are bigger than tanks, and they have, they're part of like the Mechanicum, so they operate this, and it has a guy kind of like floating in a tank of fluid and all strapped in, and a bunch of people at terminals in the head there, steering it and controlling it, and it's really cool. So it has some different points of view from pilots of this, and there's the Dark Mechanicum, part of Chaos, fighting the good side, and there's lots of Titan battles in this. So the scale of the war is a lot bigger than I've seen a lot of books, with like whole armored divisions fighting some of these, or these fighting each other. There's Imperial Guard running around, there's Chaos Space Marines and Loyal Space Marines. They'll like blow in a hatch and fight all the way up through the insides to get to the control room. It's really cool. So there's not a lot on the back going on, but there's a little bit in here. When the vital Forge world of Orestes comes under attack by a legion of Chaos Titans, the planet is forced to appeal for help. Titan Legio Invicta, although fresh from combat and in desperate need of refit and repair, responds, committing its own force of war engines to the battle. As the god machines stride to war, the world trembles, for the devastation they unleash could destroy the very world they have pledged to save. Alright, is there anything cool in here? Mayhaps not, but I don't think so. No little quotes or pictures or maps, but it is really good. So I think some of you guys asked me to do like kind of like lore videos and stuff about Warhammer 40K, which I think I'd like to do, and I might actually want to go in more depth with some of these, and I'll have to give like a spoiler warning at the beginning, But if you don't plan on reading it or don't mind, or like to hear me go through some of the events of some of these books and fill in some additional information and stuff, I think that would be cool to do. In these videos, I kind of keep it kind of like an overview and don't ruin too much in case you guys want to read it. But let me know if you'd like to see that kind of video, and leave a like or a comment if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time.